I decided to talk about or basically respond to one of our most controversial posts or video. And it has something to do yung sinabi namin dun sa lesson namin about home to work, that it is important for wife to submit to their husband. Of course, it was just a very short video. Mahaba pa yung sinabi ko. Yet, many people really reacted to that video. And in fact, maraming mga misis na nagalit. May mga comment doon na gusto ko sanang i-address. And the reason I like to address it is because I really want to be able to, alam mo, help all of you enjoy life to the full. But anyway, so as I start, no, let me just read the portion in the Bible that talks about this concept of submission. Now, I am not an expert in family affair. I am more of an entrepreneur. And naniniwala ako na nakakabit ang pamilya sa trabaho. Doon sa aming home to work, minsan may nagtanong sa akin, paano ba maghihiwalay ang trabaho at saka ang bahay? Kailan humihinto ang trabaho at saka bahay? And if you follow that series, sabi ko, magkakabit sila. If you want to really succeed at work, the home must support. But at the same time, diba, the reason why you work is so that you can provide for the home. So, I really want all of you to really succeed in your business, but at the same time, enjoy your home. So, isi-share ko sana sa inyo ano yung mga na-discover ko. But let me start by reading ano sinabi ng Bible about this submission. Ulitin ko I am not an expert in family affair. I just know that may impact ang trabaho sa bahay. Impact ang bahay sa trabaho. So anyway, I'll be reading Ephesians chapter 5. And let me start by reading verse 17. It says, so then, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. Now, this portion of the Bible was talking about relationships. Relationship about master and slave, husband and wife. So sabi niya, in this chapter, in-explain niya ano ang mga dapat natin gawin in a relationship. But specifically, may sinabi siya tungkol sa pamilya. In verse 21, sabi diyan, and be subject to one another in the fear of Christ. Overall, we need to subject ourselves or submit ourselves to one another. It's basically we protect one another. So, as a body, we need to submit. So, ginagamit to ng mga misis na nagsasabi, husband should also submit to wives. And I agree. Hindi lang wife ang dapat mag-submit sa mister because there are times where husband must listen and submit to wife. And I will agree to that. However, let me just read further yung portion kung saan sinabi talaga itong submission. Verse 22 says, wives, be subject to your own husband as the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. He himself being the Savior of the body. But as the church is subject to Christ, so also wives ought to be to their husband in everything. Now, to the husband. Husband, love your wives, just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself up for her, so that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of the water with the word, that he might present to himself the church in all her glory, having no spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that she would be holy and blameless. So husband ought to love their own wives as their own body. He who loves his wife loves himself. Today, this is a very, very controversial portion in the Bible. And I believe naging controversial yan because there was one time when there was this women's liberation. Na feeling ng babae, lugi sila kasi bakit kailangan parate ang lalaki ang masunod. Now, let me just clear something Hindi namin ginusto yung role na to. Laruin ko lang yon, okay? It's very important that I clear that. Hindi namin ginusto yung role na to. This was assigned to us by the Lord. So, kung papapiliin siguro yung ibang mister, siguro sabihin namin, ayoko, matigas ulo ng misis ko eh. Pero why did God say, wife, submit to your husband? Now, you know by now, I like defining things. I like to understand the definition para mas masunod natin siya properly. So let me just take some time to explain to you ano ba ibig sabihin ng to submit or to subject. Akala ng karamihan sa atin, ang ibig sabihin ng to submit or to be subject under is to be controlled by the other person. At sinasabi pa natin, di ba, bakit parating lang siya nagdedesisyon? Bet wala na ba akong desisyon? Hindi yun ang sinasabi nun. Klaruhin ko lang. To be subject or to submit doesn't mean walang say ang babae. I really believe marriage is a union of co-equal. Anong co-equal? Pareho ang importansya ng husband and ng wife. The husband is not better than the wife and vice versa. Kaso lang, napag-utusan ho lang kami na kami ang head. Now, being the head, what does that mean? Ibig bang sabihin, mag-bossing-bossing kami? Let me explain something to you na requirement ni God sa mga leader niya. In the Bible, leadership or authority is given to people to do two things, dalawang bagay. One, to take care of, and then to protect. Ulitin ko ha. Authorities are not there to have dominion. Authorities have been established, one, to take care and to protect. Kaso lang minsan, because sa mundo, feeling natin when you are subject to a person, siya na i-control. Hindi yung totoo yun. When I was checking the definition in the Bible, sabi doon, para bang you are under a king. So you submit yourself to a king. Now, ang king ba parating siya lang i-control? No. The king has a role to take care of his subjects and to protect them. Kaya nga, when you go under a king, responsibility niya to wage war kung under threat yung mga tao niya. Ulitin ko ang ibig sabihin to be subject or to submit is to agree to be taken care of and agree to be protected. Yun ho ang sabi. Now, so sabi dyan, wives, submit to your husband. Allow the husband to take care of you and to protect you. Kaya nga malakas sa husband yung desire to provide. Okay? Malakas sa amin yun, parang feeling namin yun ng responsibility because that's the role of someone who takes care and protect. However, some wives will feel na mas magaling sila sa husband lang, ulitin ko. Many times, mas magaling ang misis. Okay? Hindi parating magaling lang ang lalaki. So does that mean, kasi mas magaling yung babae, exempted na siya sa submission? In that video where I explained submission, sabi ko para siyang military unit. Pag yung XO hindi nag-submit dun sa commander, basisira yung unit. Now, may nag-comment, hindi sa military yan eh. Sa military, obey before you question. Even if it is not a military unit, even if it is a business, may negosyo ako, I'm a farmer, I'm an entrepreneur and farmer, may negosyo ako. When my next in command do not submit to me and gagawa siya ng ibang plano, siguradong sira negosyo. Maski anong organization pa yan, when the next in command does not submit, sira lahat. And this is happening in the family. So wife will say, how can I submit? Eh, hindi naman siya magaling. Or minsan may nagsabi pa, how can I submit kung mahina naman siya? I'd like to address that. Man and woman came together to form a unit, kaya nga the two shall become one. So ang tanong ko, ito lang una kong tanong, mahina siya. Tinulungan mo ba siya mag-succeed? Kasi minsan, kaya nag-fail yung husband kasi hindi natin tinulungan mag-succeed. Kasi ang feeling natin, pag nag-submit ka, siya ang in control. But anyway, let me go back to what I was saying kanina. Yung isang comment namin about submission to authority is that feeling ng mga misis na hindi naman karapat dapat mag-submit sa mister niya. Now, in Ephesians chapter 5, there were two instructions. One, wife, submit to your husband. Husband, love your wife. If the wife will use the excuse na dapat hindi siya mag-submit sa husband niya kasi hindi siya karapat-dapat, respetuhin, Di ba dapat meron ding karapatan ang mister na magsabi, why will I love my wife if she is not lovable? You see, things can go both ways. So ang importante, let me read to you something important in Ephesians chapter 5:33. It says here, nevertheless, each individual among you also is to love his own wife even as himself. And the wife must see to it that she respects her husband. Anong ibig sabihin? Each individual must do your role regardless of what the other person has done or not done. Naintindihan ba niyo yun? We are asked to do our role regardless of what the other person has done or failed to do. Hindi natin pwedeng gamitin na excuse yung isang tao sa hindi natin pag-obey. Now, why is that important? Today, there are many, hindi naman today, parati naman yon. There are just many conflict inside the family. And parati tayo naghihintayan na yung isa ang mauna bago kayo. I will end soon, but let me just clear this, no? Many of us fail to remember our vows. Anong vows? Remember your vow when you married? The vow says, I promise to love you in sickness and in health, in good times and in bad. When the man said that, wala siyang kondisyon na binigay. Wala siyang sinabi, if you are loving, I will love you. Wala siyang sinabi gano'n. Most wife will say naman, I will submit to you, I will help you as a leader in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health. Walang kondisyon. And I really believe when we married, all of us foresaw a good future. The husband will be a good leader, the wife will be a good helpmate. Lahat ng mag-asawa were destined for good marriages. And saan nag-fail? Nag-fail tayo because we started to expect the other person to do his or her role so that magawa natin. May nagsabi pa, marriage is give and take, 50-50. Hindi ko totoo yun. Marriage is I give to you what is required of me, even if you do not give. Pero sabihin mo, no, if I do that, paano naman ako? Paano pag hindi niya ibalik? That is where faith comes in. You will believe that if you only do your role, the other person will also do his role or her role. If the wife is very supportive of the husband, it is easy for the husband to lead. If the husband is responsible, it is easy for the wife to submit. Pero ang tanong, sino una? Walang una. Dapat sabay. Regardless of how the other person fails. Okay, yun ang belief ko. Now, some of you will say, daling sabihin sa because we have it easy. Friends, I am sharing with you things not from a perfect marriage. In fact, I am sharing experiences from an imperfect marriage. The reason why I can share these things with you, kasi nag-struggle din kami ng misis ko. And even up to now, nag-struggle kami. We struggle to forgive. We struggle to love and to submit. So the only reason I have this principle is because I have been studying why is it hard to stay in marriage. Yun na nga, I'm sharing with you ang realization ko. I cannot say na I will only love my wife if she is lovable. I need to love my wife even if she is not lovable. In fact, I need to love my wife at her worst. Why? I made the promise. I made the promise to God that I will love my wife regardless of. My wife made the promise. Now, whether she keep that or not, kanila ni God yun. Ako, I will do my part. So, let me just end here so that mas maganda na makapagtanong kayo, we can discuss this freely. You can ask me anything. Okay, doon lang muna tayo doon sa connection ng bahay sa trabaho. Sana you are enjoying the first part of the video. Before we go to the remainder of the video, I'd like to ask you sana a small favor. Alam mo ako, I wish I could help more Filipinos become fruitful, and this is the reason why I share the things I've learned in life. Will you help me help other people by subscribing to the channel? Kasi as the subscription of a channel grows, YouTube tends to share this with more people. Tulungan mo ako matulungan ng lahat ng Pilipino maging fruitful. You can ask me anything. Okay, doon lang muna tayo doon sa connection ng bahay sa trabaho. Si JVC asked, no, Does God have chances to husband na may mga asawang hindi fit sa kanila? Ano ba yung tanong na yun? Ang tanong ba yan, is it possible that God gave you a wife na hindi fit sa kanila? Like si King David, 50 wives, si Solomon. In relation sa utos ng wife, magpupuno ng kulang husband sa design. Sino ang hindi sumunod? Sila David o... Now, okay. Okay, JVC. You're asking kung posible ba na God gives us wives na hindi bagay sa atin. However, let me just answer siguro yung kay David at saka kay Solomon. Si David had 50 wives ba yun? Si Solomon had 700 wives, 300 concubine. Akala mo masarap yun? Can you imagine, araw-araw mayroon kang pagsisilbihan na isang misis? At saka if you have 1,000 wives, you have 1,000 mother-in-laws. Tayo nga, isa lang mother-in-law natin, problema pa. Now, God, in the New Testament, God said, be a husband to one wife. And the wife, be a wife to one husband. Binago yun. Sa Bible, pwede yung last until God would change it. Para bang, for example, in the Old Testament, sabi, maraming bawal na pagkain. In the New Testament, Jesus said, lininis din ng iba. So, pwede nang kainin yung bawal before. So, hindi tayo dapat maghanap ng maraming misis. Kasi maghahanap ka ng maraming problema. Okay? You see, sabi ko, ang role ng husband is to provide and to protect. Kaya ang wife naman, when you submit, you agree to be provided by the husband and to be protected by the husband. Hindi lang siya dominion. I explained this kanina. So wag kayo maghanap ng maraming sakit sa ulo. But on the other hand, may tanong si JVC. Sabi niya, is it possible that God would give us a wrong wife? Let me answer this question by giving you an example. When I was working for HP, meron akong tao. One day, pumasok siya, he was very sad. Sabi niya sa akin, boss, nakabuntis ako. Sabi ko, problema ba yon? Yung nabuntis mo ba, girlfriend mo? Sabi niya, hindi ho. Nagkamali ako. However, this person is a very faithful Christian. Ano ang ginawa niya? Pinanindigan niya. Sabi niya, nagawa ko, papanindigan ko. Iba yung babaeng gusto niya. Pero, nabuntis niya itong isa. Diba? Normally tayo, pag ayaw natin, maghanap tayo ng paraan paglabas, but anyway, nabuntis niya. You know, today, they're happily married. They have very wonderful children, and I'd like to congratulate my friend. Is it possible that God would give us the wrong wife? Siguro, ang sagot ko niyan, you see, we always have the power to make the marriage proper. Now, nakabuntis ka, God requires you now to be responsible for that life. Tama yung ginawa ng kaibigan ko. Tama yon. Okay? And then inayos niya. Ang resulta, good marriage. Many people today, they go into marriage, wala namang problema. Ang problema nila, they find out na hindi sila compatible. Posible bang hindi kayo compatible? Posible. Pero if you do your role, the husband will love the wife when she is most unlovable. The wife will submit to the husband when he is not worth respecting. Alam mo, pag ginawa niyo yung role niyo, things will fall into place. Ano ang gagawin ng isang husband na yung wife niya very loving, tapos siya very irresponsible? Anong gagawin ng isang husband na tinulungan siya ng misis niya mag-succeed? Alam mo, magtatrabaho siya. Pero pag yung wife niya, ninanag siya kasi irresponsible siya, lalong hindi yan magtatrabaho. Okay? Pag yung wife naman, parating masungit yung husband, mahirapan din. So, if we do our role, concentrate on your role, never say, how can I submit? Irresponsible siya. O, diba? Walang binigay na condition sa Bible, Wala. Okay? And nung nag-promise kayo during your wedding, you made no condition. The wife said, I will submit. Walang binigay na kondisyon. The husband said, I will love. Walang binigay na kondisyon. So, bakit ngayon nagbibigay ka ng kondisyon? So, JBC sana nakatulong, Alam mo what's the choice? Ayoko na. Iniwanan ko yung misis ko kasi ayaw ko sa kanya. Hindi kami compatible. Bakit? Sigurado ka pag naghanap ka ng iba? Compatible na kayo? Pag hindi ka ready sa ugali mo, baka makakita ka ng parehong tao. Okay? So, yun ang sagot ko dyan. Kung wala pa kayong tanong, let me continue to share some of my concern. As I told you, I am sharing not from a perfect marriage. I'm sharing from an imperfect marriage that I want to do well. One of the things I notice is most of us go into marriage hoping that the other person will feel our need. Alam mo, pagpasok mo doon, gusto mo, sana kompletuhin niya yung kulang ko. The other person din naman, pumasok sa marriage, hoping na kompletuhin mo yung kailangan niya. So ito na problema. Both of us, the husband and the wife, are there wanting the other person to complete him or her. Kaya nga, ang daming disappointment Hindi niya ginawa yung gusto ko. Now, you have to understand, how can he or she feel your need when sila rin kulang? So, I've been trying to figure this out. What's the best attitude to go to a marriage? Ako ang belief ko, when you're going into a marriage, you must be ready to feel the other person's need. Not that you want the other person to feel your need. Ang ibig ko sabihin, when you go into marriage because you love the person, you want to give to the person, even if the person does not give to you. Now, lugi ako. Hindi ka lugi. Because when the other person feels na love mo siya, that you're trying very hard to feel the need without expecting anything in return, you will find the other person will reciprocate. And maganda yung ganon because walang expectation. Today, marriage breaks down because ang dami-daming expectations na hindi kaya punuan ng isang tao. So, yun ang advice ko ngayon dun sa mga siguro gusto magpakasal. Okay? Okay, may tanong dito. Magsasubmit ba ako kung ang lalaki mismo hindi maganda trato niya sa'yo, lasinggero o babaero? Yun is a good question because I saw that in the post namin. To the women, let me just share with you what I know sa lalaki. Sa lalaki, unless babaero na siya, lasinggero before you married, Pag ang lalaki, lasinggero at babaero before you married, isipin mo, baka magbago siya pag nagkasal kami. Now, most probably hindi magbabago. So, pag lasinggero pa rin siya babaero, kasalanan mo kasi pinakasalan mo, maski alam mo Pero may cases na yung lalaki naman, nung nagpakasal kayo, hindi babaero yung lasinggero. So, ano nangyari? Sa akin, this is what I've noticed. Kaming mga lalaki, we like to go to a peaceful home. Alam mo, after we work, after being busy at work, gusto namin pag-uwi namin makarelax, makapahinga, makakita ng misis na who will really provide a good home, a good environment, na hindi kami ninanag, na hindi nagagalit pag may kulang kami. Alam mo, we would rather stay home. But I noticed this. Some men, after a while, would rather stay out. Would stay with friends. Maglalasing. And ang rason nun, kasi hindi niya nakita yung peace sa bahay niya. So this is my advice to the wives. Magsasabit ka ba pag yung lalaki lasinggero or babaero? Siguro ang tanong ko muna, did you contribute to that attitude? Did you give your husband a home to come home to? Did you make the home so nice yung husband mo gusto lang parati sa bahay? Kasi ganun ako eh. I want to stay home. If I am happy sa bahay, I will just stay home. Wala akong bisyo. Wala akong kalokohan. But if I do not come home to a home, lalabas ako, maghahanap ako ng ibang gagawin. So I agree. Mahirap mag-submit sa lasinggero at saka sa babaero. Pero ang tanong ko sa misis, kasi ang role ng misis tagapuno ng kulang. Yun ang sabi ng Bible. Did you do enough to make the home a safe place for your husband? Kasi hindi lahat ng lalaki gusto mag-inom o mangbabaero. Minsan napipilitan lang sila. Parang minsan may nagtanong din, no? Sabi niya, how can I submit when my husband is irresponsible, is a failure? I agree, mahirap mag-submit sa ganun. Pero tanong ko, tinulungan mo ba? Tinulungan mo ba wag mag-fail? Kasi pag alam mo tinulungan mo, nag-fail pa rin kasalanan ng husband yon. Pero today lang, many wives, because of this women's liberation, feeling nila, responsibility nila to take control. So when you want to take control, the husband cannot do his role, di ba? Earlier kanina, I was explaining na the reason why God said, submit to your husband, hindi lang yung husband will dominate. I explained already, authorities are given to provide and protect. When God asks us to lead, He asks the husband, provide for your family and protect your family. So the wives naman must be willing to come under the provision and protection of the husband. Hindi lang siya dominion. So ang tanong ko, tinulungan mo ba siya mag-succeed? Kasi pag tinulungan mo siya mag-succeed, hindi yan lalabas ng bahay. Yun ang alam ko. Okay? Meron lang ako babasahin dito. Sabi ng tanong na to, how will I submit to a man na walang plano sa buhay? Priority ang barkada, alak, babae. And I think I answered that. Lahat ng lalaki may plano sa buhay. Unless nga, even before mo siya pinakasalan, wala na siyang plano sa buhay, problema yon, okay? Di ba? Ulitin ko, sinabi mo, siguro pag nag-asawa kami, magbabago siya. Alam mo, pag wala siyang plano sa buhay bago kayo nag-asawa, ganun pa rin siya pag nag-asawa kayo. Pag lasinggero siya before kayo nag-asawa, lasinggero pa rin yan pag nag-asawa kayo. Pero may times, di ba? Hindi naman siya babaero, hindi naman siya lasinggero, magaling naman siya. Pinakasalan mo, mamaya, nag-start to fail. Ang tanong ko, tinulungan mo ba? What is Breaking Through? Breaking Through is a transformative lesson series that aims to grow people's character, make them fruitful, and impact the company they work for and the community they live in. Breaking Through was created by like-minded business people and professionals who believe that the path to wealth for Filipinos is to help them develop the right character and the proper values. Ang vision ng Breaking Through is to see all Filipinos live fruitful lives by teaching them a better way to do business using the Bible as a reference and the ways of the plant as a model. Breaking Through can be accessed in two ways. Every Wednesday, we will live stream a lesson through Facebook Live from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. sa page ko, Dodong Cacanando. This is free to the public. For those naman who are busy during the week, there will be a replay on Saturday that week from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Kaya din kami magre-replay kasi gusto ko sana pati mga OFWs makapanood. The stream lesson will come from a live Zoom session that Wednesday. It will be attended by people who have subscribed to the program. The participants in the Zoom session can actively participate by sharing their insights and also asking their questions. However, hindi lang ito ang benefit ng mga nakasubscribe sa program. Those who are subscribed to the program can access all the recorded video because we will create a library. They can also access a facilitator's training kasi gusto namin gumawa ng training to teach them how to facilitate a small group meeting. Along with this, we would like to invite them to communities where people who have internal values formation program can learn from each other. And lastly, those who are subscribed will be able to join the Odyssey of Employment series. This will be a 10-lesson webinar to help employees appreciate their jobs, maximize their opportunities, and also teach them how to use their employment to build a fruitful future. If you want to subscribe, please send an email to gurosanegosyo@gmail.com and the subject should be subscription to Breaking Through. When we receive your email, you will be asked to fill up a form that will give us information to help manage your subscription so that we can serve you better. If you are an individual, we will ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. But if you are a company, we would like to serve your subscription through our website and we will send you the link. The proceeds of the subscription will be given to Similya sa Kinabuhi or Seed of Life. It is a foundation in Manolo Fortich in Bukidnon. It is a facility that hosts face-to-face trainings on entrepreneurship, on farming, and even character development. In 2022, we had to close the foundation because of the pandemic and we lost our administrator. We would like to reopen that foundation because of the appeal of many of those who have attended it in the past. We would like to improve the facility through the income that we will receive from the subscription and also sustain its operation. For you to know how Breaking Through has already helped people, here is a testimony of Raymond Mirabueno, owner of Mirabueno Farm in Mantibugao, Bukidnon. He grows sunflowers, sweet corn, coconut, coffee, and other vegetable. I hope you will be encouraged by what you will hear from him.
Breaking through, we had 4 sessions this month of July, no? And we're actually very happy. Yung mga staff namin are very happy to have gone through it. Every Wednesday yon. And then unang-una, happy kasi for many years yung namin, operations namin has been just work lang, tuloy-tuloy, do this, do that. And then all of a sudden, nagkaroon kami ng opportunity na to be together because we attended it together dito sa farm. And then they were together listening to the sessions. So nagkaroon kami ng parang magandang fellowship sa kanila, no? They were seated together. We also had some snacks during those sessions and nagtatawanan sila and then syempre many times yung iba tinatamaan, ganyan-ganyan. So okay, maganda naman and then somehow, compared to yung mga nagsasama-sama sila at nagsasabihan lang sila kung ano yung opinion nila. Pero ito, parang very clear na nalilayout na papakita sa kanila na ito tama to, ito mali to. Ito akala mo hindi okay pero yung pala okay. And then you learn to appreciate it. Siguro several times, many different patterns, no? Yun yung nakikita namin dun sa naging 4 sessions na yun on how nila ma-appreciate yung ano yung meron na sila and how they can move forward with what they already have. It brings up their optimism sa kanilang work and sa kanilang buhay. And then, yung tingin nila sa work naging iba. Hindi ko naman hinahanap na magkaroon ng, parang overnight result, di ba? Although, ito din kasing past month, na-notice ko din because itong month na to, nakukulangan kami ng mga tao. And then, ito rin yung month na we're bringing in a new product, a new project into our operations. Pero, lahat yon natapos namin. Wala yung naging feeling na bugbog siya or whatever. And I felt that the average morale ng mga tao was very light and they were happy about it. And even after the sessions, during their work, nagbibiroan pa sila pagka yung isa late ulit or ganon, di ba? Kasi parang meron mga napag-usapan din regarding nalilate. Nakakatuwa. And then, yung pinaka-last na session, several of them magkakahiwalay, I met in the farm, asking me kung meron pa ba daw yun kasunod. Siguro naman meron naman yun, ano? Kasunod. And it's something also we'd like to support. There's so many aspects sa buhay nila, sa operations din namin that I'm sure can be touched and improved. Hopefully, matuloy-tuloy and sana dumami din, marami din ibang companies ang mag-join and all that. I am also part of several organizations na alam ko din will benefit from this. But it's not something very common. It's not something that a lot of people or a lot of companies will see being offered. Siguro, if ever, sobrang mahal. Parang ganun. So, sana dumami and all that. So, it's gonna help a lot. In behalf of my team here in Ino Farm, we'd like to thank the Breaking Through project of Sir Dodong and his team. And I hope we can have opportunity to help this grow better.
Someone asked, which is harder? Wife, submit to your husband as Christ submit to Jesus? Or husband, love your wife as Jesus loves the church? Wala ho mas madali. Pareho silang mahirap. You see, wives are asked to submit to husband when they are most unrespectable. May nagsabi, paano ka magsasubmit? Ang hirap naman magsubmit sa isang husband na irresponsable. Kaya nga, submit It's a command. Anong it's a command? Alam mo, pag hindi mahirap ang isang bagay, hindi commandment yan. Let me explain. Meron akong isang tatlong. Sabi ko, supposing busog na busog ka, alam mo, nasusuka ka na. Tapos ligyan kita ng lechon sa harapan. Tapos sabi ko sa iyo, huwag kang kumain. Pero busog na busog ka na, nasusuka ka na. Madali ba mag-obey nun o hindi? Madali. Hindi obedient yun kasi busog ka Pero supposing gutom ka, tapos linagyan kita ng lechon sa harapan, sabi ko huwag ka kumain, yun ang obedience. Yung bang hindi dapat gawin pero ginawa mo, yun ang obedience. Husbands are asked to love the wife when they are most unlovable. Pareho lang. They're both difficult. Sana ma-appreciate mo. Kaya nga sabi nung Ephesians chapter 5:33, let me just read it. Sabi niya, nevertheless, each individual among you also is to love his own wife even as himself, and the wife must see to it that she respects her husband. Each individual, meaning gawin mo yung role mo regardless of what the other person will do. Wife, submit even if the husband is not worth submitting to. Husband, love even if the wife is unlovable. Is living in better than marriage? If you talk about what society would want, live in. If you ask God, marriage, why? Marriage is an important union to the Lord. Sa marriage, the reason why God wants you to marry is because hindi lang para magsama kayo. There are many plans in marriage. When the two come together, God gives them a blessing in order to bless the next generation. Normally, ang live-in is because you're satisfying yourself and you give yourself a way out. Hindi yung gusto ni God. Si God, gusto niya you come together so that He can bless you together, and living in. Okay, magagalit. Living in is against the Bible. Kasi Bible is against fornication. Ano fornication? Sex before marriage. Okay? Sex is something you do inside marriage. But of course, many people today do not agree with that. And I will respect that. But if you ask me kung ano sabi ni God, marriage is important. Okay? And also, marriage allows you to grow together. Ulitin ko to bless the next generation. Now, mayroon tanong dito, husband should love his wife. Wife should respect and submit to her husband. How can a wife respect and submit to her husband if she is not loved, valued by her husband? I can feel that question, Pero nga, it is both ways. Ano ibig sabihin? The wife feels na hindi siya loved. Is it possible that the reason why the wife feels she is not loved because the husband also feels that she is not respected? Bible tells us wife should have a quiet and gentle spirit to win over the husband. On the other hand, the husband should love despite of what the wife will do. I made a commitment to the Lord and to my wife. I will love my wife until I die because I made a promise. Now, is my wife always loving? No. Diba, no? Now, anong gagawin ko? Paano pag hindi siya nag-reciprocate, hindi siya nag-love? I will still do my role. And I believe in the proper time, God will correct the situation. So, ang suggestion ko, dun sa nagtanong, Mrs., respect your husband. And because when the husband feels respected, he will also reciprocate. I will also tell your husband, love despite of. Maski hindi ka respetuhin, love. Okay? I'd like to take this point. There is this principle that really bothered me. And I just want to share this to people, no? Alam niyo yung concept of love language? Often, tinuturo yan sa simbahan, sa marriage counseling, love language. While the concept is right, ang feeling ko, it is used in the wrong way. And in fact, the way it is used today is causing conflict in marriage. Let me explain. According to the concept, there are 5 love language ata. May physical, time, gift, the whatever. So there are 5 love language. Ang sinasabi nung concept pag-apply, you should love the other person the way the other person wants to be loved. And this has caused a lot of disappointment in marriages. Bakit? Nagtrabaho yung lalaki. Pag-uwi niya, walang time sa babae. Yung babae demanded time. Feeling ng babae, wala kang time na binigay sa akin, hindi mo ako love. So the wife demands time. So yung husband naman will try hard to do that. Let me explain to you something. Ang love language ng lalaki is work, provision, because that's our responsibility. Nagtrabaho siya ng ilang oras, di ba? Ng mahaba. Pag-uwi niya, pagod na yan. Umuwi yan excited, hoping that the wife will be happy na nagtrabaho siya. Bakit? Yun yung love language niya. Pero the wife feels disappointed because pag-uwi ng husband, walang regalo. Regalo yung love language ng babae. Walang regalo. Di ba? Okay? So na-disappoint. You did not love me the way I want to be loved. Now, may question ako. If you believe that you need to be loved according to the way you want to be loved, does the other person have the right to demand that from you? Ulitin ko If you want your husband to love you the way you want to be loved, does your husband have the right to demand that you love him the way he wants to be loved? Meron, di ba? Di ba? When you start demanding that you be loved according to the way you be loved, the other person will also demand that. Ito problema. Hindi niya alam paano gagawin yon. Ano ibig sabihin? Ang love language ng lalaki is to work to provide. Ang love language siguro ng babae is time. Yung lalaki, pag nagtrabaho na siya, he already showed love. Yung time, medyo hirap siya doon. Dapat sana ganito gawin. Pag yung lalaki nagtrabaho pag-uwi, since the love language of the woman is time, he gives time to the husband, to treat the husband well, na parang the husband is happy at home because yun yung love language niya. Do not demand from the other person a love language na hindi niya naintindihan. Like for example, give you an example. My wife, parating maayos ang bahay. Minsan meron pa akong joke sa lamesa ko, magulo. Hindi pa ako tapos sa kape ko. Okay? Naligpit na yon. Pero minsan, naiinis ako kasi walang pagkain sa bahay because ang love language ko, dapat may parating pagkain. So there was one point, my wife would tell me, hindi naman yan ang hinihingi ko sa iyo . So my wife was so disappointed with me. In the same way, I would tell her, hindi naman yan ang kailangan ko sa iyo . Kailangan ko yung gusto ko. So I got disappointed with my wife. Ito problema. I did not realize that when my wife was fixing my table, she was showing me love. I should have appreciated that. Okay? Because ang love language ko pagkain, I decided one day, ako na magdadala ng pagkain. Di ba yun ang love language ko . Hindi naman alam ng misis ko yun . I hope you understand that we are pressuring ourselves unnecessarily. because of this love language. Ulitin ko ang application sana, kung ang love language mo gift, huwag ka maghintay ng gift. Ikaw ang magbigay ng gift. Kung ang love language mo words, nice words, huwag kang maghintay na ikaw sabihan. Ikaw magsabi. And you will find when you start to do that, they do that also to you. So sana nakatulong yan. I just want to clear that up. Okay, meron dito. Does money matter when it comes to submission? For example, yung wife, yung mas malaki ang kinikita kaysa sa husband, and parang hirap sa wife na mag-submit to any decision ni husband dahil siya yung mas malaki. Money, in fact, many of the issues in marriage is linked with money. Money really destroys a relationship. Now, bakit hirap yung wife mag-submit pag mas malaki kita niya? Ang sagot dyan, because of the golden rule. Alam ba niyo yung golden rule? Ang golden rule, hindi yung do to others what you want others to you. The golden rule at home is the one who has the gold. He or she makes the rules. Kung hindi galingan ng lalaki, ito nangyayari ang nature ng babae is punuan yung kulang. Pag ang babae nagpuno ng kulang, mamaya mas malaki kita niya, mas hirap siya ngayon mag-submit. Bakit? Siya may pera eh. Kaya nga para sa akin, it is important for men to really do your part. You provide. Yung mister nagsipag, malaki kinikita. Tingin mo yung babae magtatrabaho yun. Tingin mo magpipilit yun na malamangan yung lalaki. You see, when the wife is provided, they calm down. Para rin yan many years ago, when I started in our marriage, you see, waldas ako eh. My financial habits today are very different my financial habit before. So grabe ako gumastos, waldas ako. Yung misis ko naging kuripot masyado. Tapos later, nung natuto na ako na mag-ipon, yung misis ko naman medyo nag-loosen up, gumastos. What do I mean? The wife will always react to what the husband is doing. Because that's their nature, tagapuno ng kulang. Diba, in the Bible sabi, diba, wives are helpmates. Sabi ni God, it is not good for man to be alone. I will give him a helpmate suitable for him. Tagapuno yan ng kulang. Ang mindset ng babae, pag may kulang, gagawin niya. Katulad yung sabi ko sa inyo, magulo yung lamesa ko, ayusin ang misis ko yan. Maski ayaw ko pa. Kasi pinuno niya yung kulang ko. Ang nangyari, yung lalaki nagtamad. So yung babae nagtrabaho. Pag babae may trabaho, yun ang pasok ng golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rule. Now, pero ito naman tanong ko. Sabi ng babae, hindi nagsipag, hindi ako nagtrabaho. Ang tanong ko, sa simula ba tinulungan mo? Tinulungan mo ba siya mag-succeed? Naghintay ka ba? Or meron kang ugali na you want so many material things, hindi ka nakapaghintay. So ginawa mo, ikaw ang nagtrabaho. Yung lalaki, hindi niya nagawa yung role niya. Kasi hindi mo tinulungan. So, sana makatulong yun. Sabi women are wiser than men. That's why women is not submissive. Patay na. No one is wiser. The wise person is the one who follows the ways of the Lord because yun ang wise. And I want you to know something, the wives Pag pinaramdam mo sa mister mo na bobo siya, hindi nagagalaw yan. Kasi sabihin niya, wala naman ako mapapala eh. Diba? Bobo pa lang ako, ba't ko papagpipilitan? Lalo siyang mabobobo. You see, the wives were given to help the husband succeed. Do you know that in the Jewish culture, the wife has a very important role? Alam ba nyo that the wife decides the success of the next generation? Most of them are housewives. Ang goal nila, to help the husband succeed and the children succeed. Hindi mo sila masyadong maririnig. In fact, if you read Kings and Chronicles, pati sabi si Hosea, ang mother niya si Gando, parating binabanggit yung nanay. Because yung nanay ang nagde-decide ng success ng anak nila, sila rin nagde-decide ng success ng husband nila. Okay? Pero pag feeling ng wife, bobo husband niya, talagang magbobobo yan. And I've seen that many times. The wife did not support the husband by making him feel that he is not good enough. Anong ginawa ng husband? Hindi niya ginalingan. Bobo pala eh. Diba? Nagkatotoo tuloy yung plano. Pero I've also seen a husband na hindi magaling. But the wife was very supportive. Yung wife, parang fan na fan ng husband. Minsan sabihin ko sa ibang tao, grabe, hindi ba niya alam na mahina husband niya? Pero the confidence of the husband ang lakas because of the wife. And then the husband succeeded. So wife, I want you to know that you play a very, very important role. You decide the success of your husband and even the success of your children. Bakit? When the children see that you submit to your husband, they will respect their father more. And then, they will listen to their father more. Pero if the wife does not submit to the husband, the children will never listen to their father. Na-notice ko yan. The way the wives treat the father will affect the way the children would respond to their father. So, ulitin ko, I always say many times, women are good. Many times you're better than us, but not in all field. There are areas where you are wiser. There are areas where we are wiser. Pero kailangan dapat magsama yan. Magsama, okay? Dapat ako makinig sa misis ko, dapat misis ko makinig sa akin, mas magaling siya sa ibang bagay, mas magaling ako sa ibang bagay. Pag nagsama namin, magaling kami dalawa. Pero minsan, pinipilit mo ako, pakinggan mo, mas magaling ako. Hindi mo ito pinakinggan. Sabog. Walang nangyari. Okay? I want you to enjoy your union. I really do. Kung mag-asawa bang kayo, nakikinig kayo sa akin, I need you to understand that your husband will always disappoint you. Kasi kulang kami. Kaya nga kayo binigay sa amin kasi kulang. Kayo taga-kompleto. Husbands naman, many times your wives will be unlovable because meron din yan silang kulang. But we do not have to suffer through marriage. We can still enjoy marriage if we only focus on doing our role. I will love my wife, even if she is unlovable, even if she does not love me anymore. Okay? Ang gusto naman ni God sa misis ko, she will submit. Even if I am not worth respecting. Now, can I demand my wife, you submit, you better submit? Kasi sabi ni God, no, I cannot. I cannot. Kasi kanya ni God yun. I can only do my part. Amin naman ni God yun. No, paano if I love and my wife does not reciprocate? Hindi ko problema yon. But God made me a promise. Sabi niya, if I seek His kingdom and His righteousness, all good things will be added to me. That is where faith comes in. That God will take care of all my concern if I focus on my role. Husband, love your wife with no condition. Wives, submit to your husband with no condition. And you will find this. When husband feels so respected, makukonsyensya siya, magtatrabaho siya mabuti. When the wife feels so loved, the wife will also treat the husband properly. If my wife feels she is not loved, may kasalanan ako doon, no? Dapat ayusin ko yun. So focus on your responsibility. Never use your husband or your wife as an excuse for not doing your part. Romans 14:12 says that God will make us accountable for all the actions we do. Someday, God will make me accountable. God will ask me, did you love your wife? I cannot say, Lord, unlovable. Hindi ko pwede gamitin yon. The Lord will still require me of what I promise. Okay? Meron tanong dito siguro, tagutin ko na lang. Sabi niya, 8 years na po kami mag-boyfriend-girlfriend at madalas ako nasusunod kaya nung kinasal na kami parang nahirapan kami. Totoo po yung pag mag-asawa na, mag-submit na sa husband. Di ba, meron akong pinost din, no? And may naghalit sa akin kasi sabi na, curse pala ang wife. No? When after Adam and Eve sinned, God cursed the wife, no? Sabi niya, and your desire will be for your husband, meaning to be in control. But that's the curse of the wife. You will notice, yung boyfriend-girlfriend pa kayo, mas madaling sumunod yung babae. Pero nung nag-asawa na, mas hirap na because that's just part of the curse. Meron din curse ang lalaki, hindi lang ang babae ang kinurse. Kinurse kami sa trabaho namin. Mas mahirap daw trabaho namin. Okay? So anyway, sana yung ibang makapanood, sana wag na kayong magalit kasi hindi ko naman kayo kilala. So pag meron akong sinabi, hindi ko kayo pinapatamaan. Kung tinamaan kayo, kasi talagang kailangan lang kayo tamaan. So maraming salamat to sa inyo. I hope you enjoy your day, you enjoy your family. Okay, God bless all of you.
Nakatulong ba sa iyo ang video na napanood mo? Kung natulungan ka, I'd like to ask you a small favor. Sana you will subscribe to the channel or even click the like button because when you do so, YouTube will share my channel to more people. I wish I could make more videos that will help people understand how to live their lives better and become fruitful. So tulungan mo naman ako by subscribing to the channel. Salamat ha.